And just in case anyone doesn't know me, my name is Karen Davis, and I'm the Safeguarding Officer for St Paul's and St Mary's. And today, Alex and I are taking the opportunity again this year to inform, educate, I hope, and inspire us all by devoting this morning's service to the vitally important subject of safeguarding. Protecting children and vulnerable people is at the very heart of our Christian message. And Safeguarding Sunday is all about creating an opportunity for us in our churches to show our communities that we all take this responsibility seriously. And statistically, we know that there will be a number of survivors of abuse in our congregations, and that some of our content might be triggering. So please, if there is anything you're concerned about with regard to safeguarding, either in relation to yourselves or for any child or vulnerable adult, please do speak to either Alex or myself. Don't sit on it, don't investigate it by yourself, but come and speak to us if you're at all worried. Also, please remember that each and every one of us has that potential to be vulnerable in certain situations. So safeguarding is a challenge, and we know that it's the core of our business. It's God's business, and as your safeguarding officer, it's my business, the PCC's business, and in fact, it should be everyone's business as a shared responsibility. We all need to listen and keep our eyes open. This morning, I want to mention two aspects of safeguarding in our church. Firstly, how we actively try to minimize any harm to children and vulnerable adults within our church, our outreach activities, and in our community. So I see it as having three strands, really. Firstly, to raise awareness and raise the profile of safeguarding, as we're doing this morning. We have to ensure that we have the right staff and the right training in leadership roles. And three, we need to make sure that everyone has access to information they need regarding any aspect of safeguarding. So we continue to raise awareness by taking part in Safeguarding Sunday each year. At every PCC meeting, safeguarding is a very prominent item on the agenda, and I report each month to that meeting. I also attend regular meetings of the Diocesan Safeguarding Advisory Panel as the parish representative, and I also attend any collaborative initiatives and then feedback to the PCC any particular or pressing issues. It's also very important to have a robust method of recruitment following the safer recruitment module from the diocesan training. DBS checks are completed for all volunteers who qualify for that, and our volunteers also need to complete safeguarding training appropriate for each of their roles. The Safeguarding Basic Awareness module training has been updated this year, and it can be accessed via the Diocesan Safeguarding Training portal. It's really very informative, and it would be useful for any church member, and Alex and I could help you access the training should you wish to. We also have posters displayed in each church with relevant information, useful phone numbers, contacts, websites, so that concerns can be raised with Alex or I, the Diocesan Safeguarding Advisor, social services, or in an emergency, the police. I think being mindful of and understanding those three strands, our church can go a long way to minimizing harm to children and vulnerable adults. Second thing I wanted to flag up is the importance of avoiding unhealthy relationships in the context of our church family and the local community. Unhealthy relationships can be very damaging and negatively impact an individual's well-being. A lack of trust, communication, or support may mark out these types of relationships. Healthy relationships, however, demonstrate positive boundaries, good, clear, open communication, and trust. It is so important to have an open and inclusive culture in our church and in our community outreach services. We all have a responsibility for safeguarding each other and our community. So be open, be observant, and be a listener. Some of the signs that might flag up concerns about others might perhaps be a change in behaviour, a change in appearance, or a change in the way someone communicates with you. So please bring any concerns or worries to Alex or I, and we can take things further if that would be necessary. As a church, we aim to communicate honestly, being truthful and open, whilst considering each other's feelings. When we don't have all the pieces of the puzzle, a healthy relationship fills the gap between what is known and unknown with trust. Finally, be your true self. Sometimes this can make us all feel vulnerable, but we accept people for who they are, as does God. Building healthy relationships is hard work. The Bible is full of stories about people just like us, people who sometimes got things right and sometimes got things very, very wrong. There are stories of jealousy and deceit, bitterness and gossip, malice and slander. And then there are stories of relationships that model kindness, generosity, love, patience, and forgiveness. I'd just like to highlight 4 stories in the Bible that model healthy relationships. Firstly, Ruth 1. Ruth, who Simon preached about recently, chose loyalty over convenience. She and Naomi wanted what was best for each other. And John 13, verse 1 to 17, Jesus washes the disciples' feet. He modeled how to serve others with a pure heart, not letting pride get in the way. And Matthew 14, verses 22 and 23, Jesus sets boundaries. Having taught thousands of people and performed miracles, he then retreated to rest and spend time with God. Boundaries are an important part of healthy relationships, as they allow us to recharge and to be our best selves to do the work God wants us to. And finally, Luke 15, verses 11 to 32, the prodigal son. A father's love is unconditional. No matter how far we stray from God, he will always welcome us back with open arms. We can show that grace and forgiveness to others. So in conclusion, as a church, we will endeavour to continue to provide a safe environment for all our parishioners and our community, making sure we review and update as often as is necessary. Psalm 46 begins, God is our strength and refuge, our very present help in time of trouble. This verse helps to sustain me as I continue in my safeguarding role. Thank you for listening.